Have you ever pondered how the French Revolution, a momentous event over 2 centuries ago, still impacts our world today? This monumental upheaval, which spanned a full decade from 1789 to 1799, was fueled by a potent concoction of social inequality, economic distress, and political corruption. Let's delve into the causes that set the wheels of revolution in motion. At the very heart of the French Revolution was a society marked by stark divisions. The nobility and the clergy, who made up the first and second estates, enjoyed privileges and exemptions, while the third estate, composed of commoners, bore the brunt of heavy taxation. This glaring social inequality was a powder keg waiting for a spark. The economic distress that France experienced in the late 18th century provided this spark. Crop failures, soaring bread prices, and an increasing national debt left the common people in dire straits, while the upper classes continued to live in opulence. This economic turmoil was exacerbated by a political system riddled with corruption. The monarchy, under Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, was seen as indifferent and detached from the suffering of the people. Their extravagant lifestyle and perceived incompetence fueled the growing discontent among the masses. These factors, social inequality, economic distress, and political corruption, created a volatile atmosphere. The people were desperate for change, for a society where fairness prevailed over privilege, where their voices mattered. And when the Estates General was convened in 1789, for the first time in nearly 2 centuries, the flame of revolution was ignited. Key figures of the time like Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette found themselves at the epicenter of this uprising. Their actions, or perhaps more accurately, their inactions, played a significant role in the events that unfolded. And so, as the 18th century drew to a close, the stage was set for one of the most transformative periods in human history. The spark of revolution ignited into a full-blown fire on July 14, 1789, with the storming of the Bastille. This momentous event was not just an isolated act of rebellion, but a powerful demonstration of the people's power, a direct challenge to the monarchy, and a defining moment in the French Revolution. The Bastille, an imposing fortress in the heart of Paris, was more than just a prison. It was a potent symbol of the monarchy's absolute power and the injustices that came with it. Its thick walls and menacing towers represented the oppression and tyranny of the ruling class. For the common people of France, who were burdened with heavy taxes and living in poverty while the nobility lived in opulence, the Bastille was a constant reminder of their suffering. The storming of the Bastille was not a spontaneous act. It was the result of mounting tensions and resentment against the monarchy. The people were hungry, angry, and desperate for change. They saw the Bastille as the embodiment of everything they were fighting against. So, on that fateful day, a mob of several hundred Parisians, armed with whatever they could find, stormed the Bastille. It was a fierce and bloody battle, but the people prevailed. The fall of the Bastille was a significant victory for the revolutionaries. It marked the first time the people had successfully challenged and overthrown an emblem of the monarchy's power. It sent a clear message to the ruling class that the people were no longer willing to live under their oppressive rule. This event also served as a rallying point, inspiring others to join the revolution and fight for their rights. The storming of the Bastille was more than just an attack on a prison. It was a bold declaration of the people's will to fight for their rights and freedoms. It was a turning point in the revolution, a moment when the balance of power began to shift from the monarchy to the people. The Bastille, once a symbol of royal authority, had fallen into the hands of the people, marking a turning point in the revolution. The revolution, however, soon took a darker turn, plunging France into what is now known as the Reign of Terror. This period was marked by the rise of radical political factions, a chilling instrument of death known as the guillotine, and the shocking execution of King Louis XVI. As the revolution spiraled, factions like the Jacobins and the Committee of Public Safety took control, their radical ideologies fueling a wave of paranoia and suspicion. Accusations of counter-revolutionary activities were rampant, and trials were often swift and brutal. The committee, under the guise of maintaining public safety, effectively controlled the government, and their rule was marked by widespread purges and executions. The guillotine, a symbol of this terrifying era, became the preferred method of execution. Its blade fell on nobles and commoners alike, a grim testament to the supposed equality of the revolution. Its most notorious victim was Louis XVI, the very monarch against whom the revolution had been launched. His execution in January of 1793 was a pivotal moment, signaling a complete break from the old regime and the irreversible course of the revolution. The Reign of Terror, however, was not only a period of violence and fear, it was also a time of profound change. The revolution had promised liberty, equality, and fraternity, and despite the terror, these ideals persisted. They were woven into the fabric of the new society that emerged from the ashes of the old, forever altering the course of French history. But the cost was immense. By the time the Reign of Terror ended in the summer of 1794, tens of thousands had been executed, and the nation was left scarred and divided. The revolution had morphed into a beast of its own making, consuming those who had once been its fervent supporters. In the throes of the revolution, France was consumed by fear and violence, a far cry from the ideals of liberty it had set out to achieve. Yet, the Reign of Terror was an indelible part of the French Revolution, a stark reminder of the tumultuous path to change. As the dust settled, the revolution had irrevocably changed not just France, but the world. In the ashes of the old regime arose a new power, a man whose name would be etched in the annals of history. Napoleon Bonaparte, a military genius, seized control and crowned himself emperor. He reformed France, establishing the Napoleonic Code, a legal framework that replaced the patchwork of feudal laws. It was a revolutionary law in itself, promoting equality before the law, secularism, and modern administrative structures. But Napoleon's influence didn't stop at France's borders. His conquests spread these revolutionary ideals across Europe. From Madrid to Moscow, the Napoleonic Code took root, and in many places it remains the basis of civil law to this day. The ripple effects of this revolutionary law touched almost every corner of the continent, proving that the French Revolution was not confined to France alone. Meanwhile, back in France, the First French Republic was established, marking a radical shift from monarchy to democracy. It was a tumultuous time filled with political experimentation. Power was no longer in the hands of a single monarch but was distributed among the people. The concept of liberty, equality, fraternity became the rallying cry of the Republic, embodying the spirit of the revolution. These ideals didn't stay within French borders. They inspired people around the world, igniting a flame of revolutionary fervor. The American Revolution may have happened first, but it was the French Revolution that truly spread the idea of popular sovereignty on a global scale. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, these revolutionary ideals influenced other movements. The Haitian Revolution, the revolutions of 1848, the Russian Revolution, all bear the indelible mark of the French Revolution. It also sparked the rise of nationalism as people began to identify more with their nation than with their local lord or king. This shift in mindset led to the unification of Italy and Germany, forever changing the political landscape of Europe. Economically, the French Revolution led to the rise of capitalism and the end of feudal economic systems. The bourgeoisie emerged as a powerful class, their wealth not inherited, but earned. This shift paved the way for the Industrial Revolution, another transformative period that reshaped the world. The French Revolution was not just a local event, it was a global phenomenon that changed the course of history. It was a clarion call for freedom, for equality, for fraternity. It was a beacon of hope for the oppressed, a warning for the oppressors. It was a revolution that resonated across oceans and centuries, its impact still reverberating in our world today. The French Revolution, a stormy decade in France's history, had set the stage for the modern world, its echoes felt even today. So, what's the takeaway from the tumultuous decade that was the French Revolution? We've journeyed through the spark that ignited the revolution, the storming of the Bastille, the Reign of Terror, and the aftermath with its global impact. The French Revolution was a pivotal moment in history, reshaping the social, political, and economic landscape of France. It was sparked by widespread discontent over the monarchy's excesses and the crippling economic hardships faced by the common people. This revolution was a time of immense turmoil and bloodshed, marked by key events like the storming of the Bastille and the Reign of Terror. But it was also a time of profound change. The old feudal system was dismantled, paving the way for new political structures and ideologies. Its impact extended far beyond France's borders, influencing nations around the world. It embodied the power of the people to effect change, challenging entrenched power structures and shaping our understanding of democracy and human rights. The French Revolution, a testament to the power of the people, continues to shape our understanding of democracy, human rights, and political power, making it an enduring part of our global narrative.